Hey guys, Jack Chick out here. This is not really Yu-Gi-Oh related-ish, but here I'm going to be showing you something a little bit interesting. This is something that a lot of people often ask me. Okay, it's going to be like a jumble of cards. Okay, it's going to slap this one in the middle. A lot of people ask me because, believe it or not, I've been playing things like blackjack and poker since I was a kid. So sorry for ghetto filming, but so today I'm going to show you guys a few things about shuffling. So shuffling obviously is like the biggest part of the game, of any card game actually, because it is how the whole strategy thing works. You can luck sack, some draws, top deck, so on and so forth. So, but shuffling can sometimes be either what makes or breaks you in the game. Why? Because if you don't shuffle correctly, you end up getting the same cards you had last game, and if last game sucked for you, well, tough shit. So today, I'm going to show you guys a few things about shuffling. I have here 3 different decks. Well, this is just a jumble of cards, but they'll serve the purposes for today's video. Here I have my Sexy Miku sleeves. This is a double sleeve deck. This is a regular deck, and this is a single sleeve deck. Of course, these are Yu-Gi-Oh size sleeves. These are more Magic size sleeves. They're double sleeves. So I figured it would be a great way of showing some things about shuffling for those of you who have slightly bigger decks. So let's start with the middle. If you ever seen the anime, of course, allow me to adjust the camera here a little, and there we go. Okay, if you guys put these decks aside, if you guys ever seen the anime, you'll see a lot of people doing this, and if you see anybody doing this while they're playing the game in real life, you're like, oh yeah, they're just imitating the anime. Actually, this is called the Hindu shuffle. This is the most basic of shuffles. It does not involve you doing this, which can actually mess up your deck. It does not involve you doing this, which can actually mess up your sleeves. This is a way that can actually be very easy, but for some people can actually be very, very hard to do. This is probably one of the key things about playing any card game, whether it's poker or any trading card game, that'd be Magic, Vanguard, Strike Towards, or even Yu-Gi-Oh! For this video, is how to do a good shuffle, or how to shuffle in the first place. Because if you don't, again, you'll end up with a lot of the same cards that you had in the beginning or in your first game, and that's always bad news. That means that the deck was not shuffled properly, or maybe you just need to switch your sleeves. So I have here just a jumble of cards. These are just random cards. They're not really a deck, just a jumble of cards. So I'm gonna show you how to do a Hindu shuffle. It's fairly simple, actually. It just takes a little bit of practice because it does require hand-eye coordination. Just gonna grab any stack, any amount of stack. Just gonna do this over and over it. What you want to do is you want to keep your index finger here in the middle of the deck. Your thumb and your 3 other fingers are going to be supporting the sides. So you're going to lift your pinky as you're pulling cards out, and as you're doing it, you're going to simultaneously adjust your fingers to however many cards are left in the stack from what you separated. So I have that. I'm making space for it on top. Right, let me show you this from herb. So whoop, I just drop it. What you can do is sort of like a drop method. So when you pull it out, just let it drop. Whop, whop, whop. And then eventually you can do this. It's pretty simple, right? This does take quite a bit of practice, but this is the most basic way of shuffling. I know a lot of people do this, which does get the job done. But sometimes this is not even enough, because if your cards are stuck together, they stay together. So this is the best way. It forcefully separates the cards. This also has to do a lot with your sleeves. If you have a very low quality sleeves, like those tin sleeves they used to have, back in the 5Ds era, or sometimes player choice sleeves tend to do this. After a while, sleeves tends to start sticking together, so that's a very bad sign. That means you have to switch the sleeves. So if the reason why they're sticking together is because of that, it really isn't your shuffling. You just have, you know, very old sleeves. So again, just remember the drop method. When you pull out the stack, just drop it, lay it on, and just practice this. But remember, as you drop it, you regain your grip. So your hand should be like this. To the middle. And be sure to grab it with your middle finger and your thumb, because be sure to grip sides, because you don't want to like grab it from here and go like wow, because not only are you wasting time, you know, it's very, very difficult. So this is for, you know, a single, a non-sleeve deck. So let's try an Ultra Pro. Ultra Pro is the same thing, but you'll notice that the stack is a lot higher. That's because they're sleeved. The thing about Ultra Pro sleeves though is that you can actually shuffle into the cards like this. Oh, and then just up the card. This is just shuffling like profusely, but this can actually damage the sides of your sleeves. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that the sides here connect. So when you shuffle it, just ease your way, almost like a saw. Just let it open. The key in this type of shuffle, I don't really know if there's a name for it. Is, I know, like, I've been playing blackjack and poker, but I don't really know much about like big shuffles, mostly because I didn't really like pick up on it. But you want to just ease it in. So when you do it, just let it go and let them in. Let it go, let them in. Be careful, because sometimes the corners of these sleeves will go into the plastic. They'll sort of percolate. After a while, it's like it starts showing. So for example, this here card, this Infestation Pandemic here, eventually you'll start seeing like little pokes around the card. That means that you've been using the card a little too brashly. You've been shuffling a little too brashly. Eventually you can do this, just nice and easy. Okay. Be sure to practice often. Try using, you know, like if you're using regular sleeves, like regular non-sleeve, don't do that with these, because unfortunately these don't have cornered edges like these do. These have cornered edges. That's why they're like, you can do that. With these, you can't do that, because you're actually hitting the edges and that damages the cards. So with these, you want to Hindu shuffle. With these, you can Hindu shuffle, and you can do this type of shuffling. It's just that this type of shuffling can actually damage your sleeves in the long run. So you want to overall just Hindu shuffle. Or you can just do a little bit of both. It's actually what a lot of players recommend doing. Let's just do a little this, and then just do this, because you've already randomized the order the deck was in, so you don't really need to be like doing this all the time. Just go like that, and then just start doing this, and you should have a pretty well shuffled deck. I should also point out that decks like these, whether they're, you know, not sleeved, single sleeve, or double sleeved, you should shuffle approximately 4 to 5 times. But you don't want to shuffle too much, because you're really just wasting time. It's not really a whole thing about probability. It's just that you know, like the more you shuffle, the better your hand will get. You never know when that winning hand, you know, that broken opening hand, can actually be, you know, within the first 3 or 4 shuffles, and then, you know, you skipped it because you shuffled like 5 or 6 times. You know, it's just a matter of luck. With double sleeves, it's almost a different story. The thing about double sleeve is that because they're so thick, makes your deck so thick. Like, I mean, this is how thick double sleeve is, and this is how thick regular sleeve is. If you know, it doesn't make them really as thick. The deck becomes thicker as a stack. The sleeves really don't. The thing about these though is that because they're double sleeved, it's almost you're stacking on 2 protective layers over 1 card, so it obviously makes this the stack thicker. With these, it really becomes a matter of grip, because a lot of times when I started using double sleeves, which wasn't very that long, I ended up like I couldn't even do this. I seriously could not do it. I had to grab the deck and do this. This is another way of Hindu shuffling, but this is like a lot harder, very, very hard to do, because first off, you're using your middle finger and your thumb in the wrong way. You're basically reversing the roles of your hands. In a Hindu shuffle, this is the hand you use to shuffle, your right hand, or left hand if you're left-handed. Oh. Yeah, that's something that sometimes happens. With thick deck shuffling, you have to do this downwards, and that becomes a matter of you using this hand to shuffle and this hand to hold. See? Now a lot of people get used to this and actually prefer it this way, but it becomes really hard to do in a regular Hindu shuffle like this. I mean, this took me a while to get used to actually like do. But before I had to do this downward, because that way I can actually grip more of the deck, because I'm putting majority of my palm into the deck and then grabbing it. What I normally would do is rest this part of my hand. I know my camera shade is like really weird. This part of my hand really rests in here, and then I just grab it, and then it just in a way it just lifts. So if you're double sleeving your deck, I would recommend you practice a lot with shuffling, because a lot of times when I was shuffling, I never really got good hands. My hands always ended up being the same, even though I shuffled properly. So it becomes really, really difficult. Okay, I'm gonna do one more basic shuffle, and this is something that a lot of quote unquote pro players do, and that's what you see when people start doing this. Camera moving. Wee. Okay, if you ever seen anybody do that, this is technically a form of shuffling, because all you're doing is shuffling is basically randomizing your deck, the order of your cards. So when you do this, you're randomizing the order. You don't know what's underneath. You can do this. You can do this. And there you go. And then you just start picking up stacks little by little. This is what a lot of people do at regionals or at YCS and whatnot. And you just go like whoop, whoop, whoop. See what I mean? If you do it too rashly, you can actually sort of feel when the edges start poking. Yeah, that's not a very good sign. Your sleeve won't really last that long. Sometimes they'll start cracking at the edges. Test your opening hand. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Evil Swarms are broken. And whoop, yep, Evil Swarms are broken. But the video is not about Evil Swarms. Okay, so that's another shuffle. It's really simple. There's really no explaining. Demonstrating it alone really just tells you everything you need to know. If you really don't want to do any of these complicated shuffles, like the Hindu shuffle, or this, or even this, if you don't want to do that, you can always just, separate your cards one by one, make like stacks of 4, 4, 4, and just start separating cards one by one. And, that works just as well. But, if you guys saw what I just did, that was that last shuffle, that is a poker shuffle. Or I like to believe it is a poker shuffle. This is what a lot of like poker, blackjack, Texas Hold'em, this is what they do with a shuffle. Now this is very dangerous because this can mess up your cards if you're not doing this right. This takes balls and practice, and I mean practice. To do this with like think about it this way. Every time you do this, you're literally playing while you're playing an expensive deck, you're literally putting your money in, what's a good way of explaining it? You're really gambling with your money. Because if you paid for the deck and all of a sudden hold on, let me just get like some useless cards here. Come here. Come here, Abyss Rising. Not really likes you. Let me just see if there's any. Oh, Dustins. 1 second, guys. Oh, there's my Facebook. I know people are gonna want those Dustins. Oh, Solar Windjammer actually do need that. Sorry, guys. Cash back. So I really need some of these cards. So hold on one sec. Well, one individual. Just make sure okay. You don't really want to do this. And they're like, wow. Okay, it's really hard to do. Hold on, let me get more cards. Let me get like more cards in here. Some people are gonna want those Dustins. Okay, you don't want to do this, and just like, wow. And then all of a sudden your cards bend. Oh, and there were my cards. But you don't want to do, I don't really want to do it really hard on my cards, but believe me when I tell you that if you ever do it, be very, and I'm like, hold on guys, this is like the most awkward video ever because I'm messing up everything, but that's how we do things here. Sorry about that. I was trying to demonstrate what happened if you do this really, really hard. But believe me when I tell you that if you don't do this right, your cards can very well bend. Very, very well bend. It's really hard to do it with these, because they're like this. Yeah. Fuck it. Did any of them bend? Nope. Let's try it again. Like over time, they will bend. And you'll start seeing the pressure you're putting on them. But this becomes really difficult to do after a while. And it really, really becomes painful to when you see them and they have like these huge ass creases in the back. Here, let me just do this right now. There. This is what can happen if you don't do that shuffle correctly. This is what can happen. It has a big ass crease now. I know I just bent it in half, but whatever. Nobody wanted that card anyway. Go away, card. Nobody likes you. So when you do it, even with these, be very, very, very careful, especially with sleeve decks, because you have more gripping room. These can bend so much easier. It's ridiculous. I know people who used to play with these and do this, and then all of a sudden they see their card just bend in front of their eyes. It's like watching like your puppy getting killed. You just lose your shit. So it is a very dangerous shuffle if you don't know what you're doing. If you do not know what you're doing, practice, practice, practice. You can always just do this if you're not comfortable, If you're not comfortable with that very dangerous poker shuffle, a lot of people are like, well, it's not really that hard, and it isn't really. But the problem is that some people just go like really hard on it, that it becomes, you know, a very dangerous thing to do if you value your cards that much. So, but there's a trick to it. When you do it, try buying like just a regular set of poker cards, and just try doing this. Just try doing this. See what I'm doing? If you can do that on every single card without skipping cards, which is very easy to do, just, you know, slant the deck so it's slanted, and that way when you do this, they let go easier, a lot easier. The real key to doing the shuffle without bending your cards is pressure. You don't want to put too much pressure into it, just like that. See? Not barely any pressure, just lightly push down. You don't want to push down too much because, you know, you'll mess them up, but just slightly push down. You know? If you can do this, trust me, you'll look badass when you go to local. It's like, yeah, I mean, I got my easels for him, man. I'll kick your ass, man. It's like, fuck you, man. But when my card fell, oh my god. Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay, I got my card back. Like, oh, come on, kick your ass, man. Come on. Let's do this. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And the moment you do this, everyone's like, oh my god, this guy's fucking pro. Yeah. The only thing you want to do is, if you guys want to do this, here's a basic rundown how you do it. All jokes aside. So basically you want to grab the deck and split it as evenly as you can. Don't just go like this and start like, no, just grab a chunk, but try to make sure it's as even as possible. You grab it. You see what I did with my stomach there? You grab it, right? And you're like, whoop. So make it. Trust me, like if you're chubby like me, this is really easy. Or you can just do this. But just grab the deck. Make sure that, you know, your opponent can't see it. So, you know, when you're grabbing it, make sure you're like, whoop, and then just go like this. The cool thing about it is that you basically show your opponent your deck, but you shuffle it so fast they can't even see it. And try to make sure you get a grip. That's what I'm saying. That's why I say be careful when you do this, because when you do this, it becomes really difficult. Also, make sure that your thumb is always the tip of your thumb is always on the sides. You don't want to grab it and then like throw it down with your thumb, the bone of your thumb going like this, because that's how you bend them. Like, whoop. So make sure you grab your thumb and go like that. So when you do this, this is when your thumbs should be on the sides. And then just let them go. Not that hard, right? And then you just go whoop, whoop, whoop. And there you go, you're ready to play your game. So I figured this was actually a video that I felt I should make, because I do this at locals all the time. I was, you know, go like whoop. You know, and my friends ask me, you know, like, oh, you know, like, how do you shuffle like that? You know, I wish I could shuffle like this, you know, because I've seen people doing, like, oh, shit, you know, and all the cards get jumbled up. So, practice is all I can say. Do this, just grab like a stack of cards, and just grab a stack. I just grab the stack, you know, like whoop, 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 whoop. And there you go. Just grab a stack of cards and practice. This takes a while to practice, and you know, to get really get down. So if you feel, you know, if you do this and all of a sudden your cards go flying everywhere, don't feel discouraged. Just, you know, keep trying again. You know, you won't succeed until you keep trying. Nothing, you know, as they say, nothing really comes, you know, overnight. So just practice. See, that happens all the time. Just be sure, you know, it doesn't bend your cards. That's something that always happens when you shuffle with these things. Yeah. So yeah, Again, this is something I feel like I should make, because a lot of people always ask me, how do you make these type of shuffles, how these happen, and it's something that a lot of people always want to learn how to do, but never are just too scared of doing. So yeah, feel free to rewind, pause, and everything. If you guys want more videos on on things like shuffling and stuff like that, just let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to actually do like more detailed tutorials on how to do these shuffles. Though I think this video should be enough. I don't think I should be doing any more videos about shuffling. Because it is pretty basic. But if you guys want to learn how to do like like this more in detail, I guess I could do a video like that. But again, it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I know this was a very weird video for me to make, but I figured it'd be something that everybody would enjoy knowing about. I hope I was about as instructive as I'm hoping I would be. If you guys like videos like these, want me to do more, probably in about 2 weeks I'm gonna be going into like an entire video making spree, because I'm gonna have a whole lot of like time to be doing these videos. So we're gonna be probably seeing a lot more of me in the upcoming weeks. And yeah, again, if you guys like to see more videos like these, if you guys want to have any other tutorials you have in mind, just let me know in the comments. Let me know on a PM. If you guys were watching this from Duels of the Round Table, hi by the way. Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, this is Yaku Chikama. Later, guys.